The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18 plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Joining us now is Congresswoman Claudia Tenney from the great state of New York. Congresswoman, this war of words, we were talking about it with the Democratic Party. They just seem to be, what's going on with your colleagues there on the Democratic side? It's like they are undermining America. And case in point, of course, on the Senate side, Chris Murphy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. And it's just a classic case of they hate Donald Trump more than they love our country. And anything that President Trump does, no matter how good it could be, whether he cured cancer, whether he solved, had world peace, they're still going to be against him no matter what. Trump derangement syndrome is there's no vaccine and there's no cure that we know of right now.
You know, Congresswoman Tenney, we were just talking at the break about Virginia. And this decision last night, this is the referendum by the people there, which really stilts it. Now it's 6 Democratic to 5. And everyone's saying that what this does is give them 10 more seats, essentially, the redistricting. So now it's 10-1, that it favors 10-1. I mean, first of all, how is that American, and how concerned? A lot of people said that's a huge deal if this goes through, because of course and it goes to some litigation and everything else. But the midterms are right around the corner. Is that the midterms?
Yeah, look, this is a really disappointing outcome. But remember, the Democrats outspent the Republicans on this initiative 3-1. They brought all their big guns in. They had former President Obama coming in and talking about fairness, which none of this is fair, of course. They're marginalizing people in rural Virginia. 5 of the different districts are little like spokes that come out of the most liberal Democrat, I dare say communist side of Northern Virginia, and they're like tentacles reaching down into rural Virginia to create this extreme gerrymander, a 10-1 seat instead of a 6-5, by the way, which was created by the Virginia Supreme Court. Interesting, though, today, the Virginia Circuit Court blocked the new congressional maps just now. So we'll see where that goes as it winds its way through the courts in Virginia, because they know these are unfair. They know this disenfranchises, especially the rural voters. And they know the Democrats are doing this as a pure grab for power. And
Claudia, tell us that again. What just happened? Because I missed that. What just happened?
I said the Virginia Circuit Court, a judge, blocked these congressional maps the Democrats are trying to put in for now. So it'll go through the Virginia. We'll see what happens when the Virginia Supreme Court takes this up. Interestingly, though, the Virginia Supreme Court are the court that actually created the fairer lines, the 6-5, 6 Democrats, 5 Republican outcome in Virginia. So they may actually restore fairness here over the Democrat gerrymandering. And also, by the way, the Democrats spent a fortune manipulating and putting out a very dishonest referendum talking about let's restore fairness, vote yes. Well, obviously they're not restoring fairness. They're doing the opposite of that.
And the question itself was mentioned that as if it was fair what they were proposing.
Yeah, they use the word fairness
right.
and to make the lines fair. So if you're like just a voter, you go, oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I'm just like, let's be honest, and we're from New York. I've been a victim of redistricting so many times. It's going all the way back to 2012 when I had my assembly district, drawn by the Democrats in the longest district ever created in New York history, all the way from Oneida County in central New York, all the way to the Pennsylvania border. It was like 7 counties, 1 town wide, created by the Democrats to keep the gerrymandered seats and keep control of the assembly. And this is insane. And I'm so sick of hearing people say that this was started when President Trump did this or asked Texas to redistrict. Let's take an honest look at Texas. Many of those seats, and by the way, New York started it. They did an extreme gerrymander in 2022. The court and the special master, using their own law, the 2014 law, that the Democrats passed and created an independent redistricting commission, created fairer seats in New York. So we ended up having a fair redistricting in 2022. The Democrats sued, as you all know, and we know well in New York. They bullied two of the judges out in the Court of Appeals who sided with the Independent Redistricting Commission, put two new judges in, and we went back to the courts. We lost 4 Republican seats. We had another gerrymander. And again, in 2026, the Democrats brought another lawsuit to try to displace Nicole Maliotakis in Staten Island. And their mission was to go even farther. And they're going to try to redistrict again in 2028. They've already massively redistricted all of the New England states, Connecticut, Massachusetts. There are lots. Their states are not. They are represented by no Republicans in the state of Connecticut, the state of Massachusetts, and the state of Vermont. None of these have Republicans.
Zero Republicans.
Zero Republicans.
Yeah, I keep saying that because people have to listen. 39% of Massachusetts is registered Republicans, and they have 0 Congress people and 0 senators. How can that be fair?
And this is because of redistricting and Democrat Party rule in these states. And I want to give a shout out to Guy Benson, who is a well-known Fox News commentator, who defended my position on here. California has done this. Illinois has done this. Other states have done this. And by the way, before New York went through all this redistricting, they went through extreme gerrymanders, and they also tried to manipulate the 2020 census by robbing red states of up to 6 to 10 seats. So they had already done this. They'd already tried to manipulate the will of the voters to cheat, as they do, by manipulating the census, by counting people who should have been counted in the census. And we should have had, and now we know that. We didn't know that until actually there was an audit done to find out that the Democrats, in fact, manipulated the census to get more seats. So this has been going on for years. So I'm sick of hearing it. The Republicans need to understand something, John and Rita. This is a blood sport. The Democrats will do anything to undermine the vote of the American people.
They cheated.
Undermine our
they
founders.
lied. They said that they loved us.
Agreed. I mean, this is what they're going to do. We need to fight back, and we need to stand up for the American people, and we need to stand up for the voters, because Claudia, the voters are uninformed.
Claudia, what I'm saying to everybody, let them redistrict all they want, as long as at the end of the day, if you have 39% Republicans in Massachusetts, that they can redistrict any way they want. We should have the Republicans, the people that are registered Republicans need representation, and they should have 39% say in what goes on in Congress.
Absolutely, and that's what we're not getting. And by the way, let me just remind people in Texas, many of those districts that the Democrats are screaming about were what we call R plus 40s and 50s, meaning 40%, 40 points more Republicans, or 50 in some of these Texas districts, and they actually made them more fair. They made them more competitive for Republicans. They dropped them down to R plus 20s and R plus 15s and R plus 10s. Because there are more Republicans in Texas, or more people vote Republican. They technically, their primaries are open, but they vote Republican. President Trump won Texas by almost 60%.
Taxation without representation.
Absolutely.
I've heard that before.
All right. Thank you, Claudia. We love you.
Thanks. Great talking to you guys.
Thank you so much.